mean? What does that mean?
Well, this is part of the depopulation we're talking about. This is, you know, the AI technology and robotics is going to put 50% of these people out of work. Now, Henry Kissinger called us the future useless food eaters.
I think I remember that statement.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So they know what's coming. I mean, if you read Carol Quigley's Tragedy and Hope, or, you know, None Dare Call It Conspiracy to Richard Allen that was put out in 1972, or any of the great, you know, the greats that have been around for a long time, Griffin,
it's prophetic.
Cooper.
It's prophetic, though.
Oh, yes.
I mean, if you think, because we're living it now.
Yeah.
That's what scares me.
Well, indeed. Because we're going through changes that we've never gone through before.
No.
I mean, we never had the internet. We never had robotic technologies that, you know, can possibly suppress us, surpass us.
Medically, what about stem cell research? That started in the Bush administration, not Daddy Bush.
Yeah.
If you think about back then, like stem cells, this is, you know.
Yeah.
But things that make you go, I said, so you're going to do, but what can you put in those stem cells that may...
They've changed our DNA already from just the GMO foods.
Yes.
And we don't know what their vaccines got in them. Nope. It's the most as you know, the most unregulated part of the whole medical industry. So, and I try to inform people of this, of course, you know, and but people are indoctrinated into believe in doctors, believe in the government, and well, you know, there's some of them who won't be able to save.
Here's what I think happens. It's like if you're in a crowd of people right now, all of us are in a crowd of people, and they say the exit's that way. We're ants marching.
Oh yeah.
And so that's what
we are crowd people.
And if you don't question it, and I'm not, you still have to question things.
Yeah, but the food thing.
And we don't.
Children, right. You walk into a classroom, like I would walk in, and it was, I used to joke around, but it's not funny, because you have to make light, otherwise you'll go nuts.
Yes.
You'd see the little special needs children, and the younger they were, the more severely addicted, you might say they were, to certain really weird stuff. For example, every child with autism and I worked for 10 years. I was working with watching these children. I would joke around. I'd be like, oh yeah, they have the 5 food groups. You got the fish, they eat their protein. Their fish is a goldfish. And then you've got, I mean, all of their foods that they ate it was all like, you know, it was fish, and then there were Cheez-Its that was their dairy, and like all this food that was like all processed, all disgusting, like cracker stuff, like carbohydrates, processed junk food. And this was what would be in their little lunch trays. With, don't forget, your drink, and it was a juice pouch, like, and it wasn't like a regular juice, it was like the Free Sun. They all drink that. And those were that's what these children were eating, which were the most severely disabled children that there are the ones we had on the other side of my world. And I would sit there, I'd just walk around and look at them, and I'd be like, oh, I see all the food groups are represented here too. And every single one of them would have these little trays. You would see it. Or it'd come in little baggies or little cups. Just depends on the parent. And these are wealthy people. I mean, I was teaching at one of the highest social economic schools for children. I mean, at Seven Oaks. It's everybody there. I mean, we had people that were famous as kids there, and that were handicapped.
How old are you?
70.
But yeah, you look awesome.
Well, thank you. The mental health expert I spoke to, I asked him what, you know, as he was going on, he says there's an explosion now of 17 and 19-year-olds going insane.
Really?
He says it goes up like this.
That's
and he's attributing again that. One, because they grew up with all the vaccines and the pharmaceuticals, but also they are the first generation to actually have a screen in their hands from crib.
24 hours, yep.
You know, and so it's an attack on us from all different sides because they know what's coming. There's going to be a culling. The individuals that know are getting prepared. And, you know, we'll try to do the best we can. We'll form our militias and our underground groups and stock our food. I try to get people to grow urban gardens.
So I talked to I got a family member in East Texas. He's got a garden. I said, if anything ever happens, we're going to Dallas because he's self-sufficient.
Well, yeah,
But
I mean,
you're right.
I always remember, go to Europe and you see people that have been through food shortages because they've been through the wars, and yet, you know, they got thousands of years of, you know, maybe a drought or whatever the hell to stop the food. They don't have flower gardens. They have vegetable gardens. And if they, I mean, if as fertile as this area is, if every bit of this land right here actually grew something you could eat, we wouldn't have to worry about stuff.
And a potato is the most sustainable vegetable out there. Well, it's a root.
Yeah.
It's the most sustainable food. But I'm just saying, when the doo-doo hits the fan, look at the Irish. When they immigrated
I bought
here.
my little plant, my tomato plant. It's a start. I'm starting.
You look at history, you look at the Irish when they immigrated to America in the late 1800s, they grew up on potatoes. That's all they had.
Well, even now that we have the technology to get freeze-dried food that has 25-year shelf life, you can just get like 2 months of that to get you past the worst part, if the worst should happen. Because it'll take 2 months to, you know, for everything to be depleted.
True.
I mean, I always start out by asking people this: if the lights went out tomorrow, how long could you survive?
Nobody can go past 3 days. You're right. Nobody can.
Yeah, when we had the hurricane recently, we were like, okay. I mean, I had all these people coming to my house, which was fine. I mean, they're all old and everybody needed help. So my house was the best one for that situation. But it was so stressful and difficult for me to just try to manage meals for everybody. And
try going through Katrina.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. Exactly. I mean, for me, this was unbelievable. And I thought, they're never going to leave, are they? That's what I kept thinking. I was like, they're never going to leave. They're going to be here forever. And I can't deal with all of this. Because there was no electricity. You can't wash anything. So, I mean, it was just, it's so... It's
so sad. How long could you survive with that? And our power grid sucks.
It's antiquated.
No, we have our power because we're a co-op.
We're fortunate.
We're a co-op, so we always get power before everyone. Except this time, we were really screwed. Like, this opened my eyes to the fact that I would have given everything I would have given my car. I would have traded my car for a generator. That's how desperate I became, and they're only a couple $100.
Our power grid goes back to the 1950s, and we've never updated it.
But here's the rub, and I'm going to get into something here that I got into earlier today that's part of this whole conspiracy.
Okay.
If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend watching a documentary called Thrive, Thrive. Procter & Gamble. Foster Gamble, heir to that vast fortune to be groomed to top 0.00001%er, has an epiphany, and he says, I'm surrounded by insane people. So we make this documentary blowing the whistle on the elitist agenda to depopulate us. The first thing he exposes in there is free energy suppression.
Okay.
Tesla technology, buying up, inventions, intimidating inventors, killing them if necessary. To go ahead.
That just happened. I read about that. Yeah. About those inventors that have been, or the people that have been talking.
Thrive was a documentary.
Thrive.
I want to put it on my memos.
Thrive. You can watch it on YouTube. It's been out for a while. But it's an extraordinary documentary on showing government cover-ups for over 100 years, how the elite control us through the media, how they plan to control us through the pharmaceutical industries, false flag operations, everything. And then, but what I really like about this documentary is he just doesn't expose what's wrong. He starts giving solutions, what we can do as individuals in all different ways, small and big, to go ahead and counteract this and get back on track.
What I'm troubled with is, what is the elitist motivation? I mean, they have so much as it is. I'm just talking out loud.
Yeah.
They have so much as it is. Why would they want everybody else to suffer? I mean,
because they're psychopaths.
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah.
They're
it's
gangsters.
Not enough. Yeah.
They're gangsters and psychopaths. Once they get rid of us, they'll feed on each other.
Yeah. That desire to continue.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
It makes sense.
That's why you can't figure them out. You're not there.
Yeah.
All you can do is go, I don't understand this. Of course you don't understand it. You're not a psychopath.
Yeah.
I want to learn more about this. I'm going to go to your website because
George Soros. I mean, look at what he's done over the past several
who's that? You people.
George Soros is funds a lot of left wing. George Soros was a Nazi collaborator. He's a Jew who worked with the Nazis, confiscating other Jews' property to hand over to the Nazis. That's how he made his fortune.
Right.
And he is the backer of a lot of left-wing programs. If you see Antifa and all these people running around with the communist signs, that's him funding that.
Wall Street, what was it, like 3 years ago, the Wall Street group, before Antifa. They were rallying in all the different
Black
states.
Lives Matter?
No, it was before that. It was before
He
that.
funded that too.
Oh, no, he did.
Yeah.
It was before that. It's on the tip of my tongue, but anyhow.
He's funded many of them.
Yeah, because he's filthy rich.
Yeah, I mean, he funds most of the left-wing media.
Yeah.
He's behind a lot. I wish the son of a bitch would die. He's got to be like 98 or 99. But then his son is just as bad, I understand.
You look at our youth this year, this generation, because of this, they don't free think.
No.
And that's the problem. And they buy into it. Then they're going to the colleges, they're being indoctrinated with liberalism. And, why should I work? Because the government should and everybody else should.
Now, on the flip side of that, I've had the opportunity to talk to nothing but teachers and students because it's spring break over at Penn.
Yeah.
And I have talked to a whole bunch of really smart, intelligent, got their heads screwed on right, young kids.
Yeah.
So that's why I like being out here, because I can break down some misconceptions.
At least that they're out here and they're asking the questions, because most of them were, like I said, your ants marching. They follow this narrative.
Yeah. It's groupthink. It is groupthink. I just read, not something else. It's groupthink global warming. It was a scientific paper just came out. What it basically dwells into, it just doesn't expose the hoax of global warming scientifically and factually. It gets into the psychological aspect of how so many otherwise educated, intelligent people can fall for such utter nonsense.
Yeah.
So it was a great paper. I just finished it. It's called Groupthink Global Warming. Highly recommend it because it kind of gets you to. It's a way to see how they manipulate us. It's like a magic trick. Once you've seen how the magician does the magic trick, well, you can't fall for that BS anymore.
Yeah.
So it exposes a lot of that, behind who started it. Maurice Strong, who was, a Marxist globalist, was behind. He was actually bigger than Soros. This guy was, and he died. Thank God he died about a year ago. But he was behind the whole global, if not for him, the whole global warming hoax wouldn't even exist.
Wow.
And good old Al Gore ran with it.
Yeah, it still is.
Yeah.
But they're falling flat on their faces.
Yeah, because they're debunked in their theories.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not going to get into the whole global warming. It's cyclical. It's been cyclical for 2,200 years.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to bust it down. I do it all the time out here. I have a ball.
I'm very common here. How come I don't know nothing of all this stuff?
Because you've been busy taking care of people and running the house and all that other good stuff. I mean, if you go, InfoWars is a good place to get this kind of news. WorldNet Daily, even if just getting a search engines and start going in global warming hoax, false flags, and you get into different,
population control, anything you can imagine, and you're going to get both sides, but it just, at the end of the day.
Then you learn about groups like the real leaders. You see, here's the deal. We were warned about this because Eisenhower told us in his farewell speech address, beware of the military-industrial complex and the technological elite gaining unwarranted or warranted power. Later on, Kennedy warned us about it in the speech that got Kennedy killed, in which he named the shadow government. He said it's a government bigger than all other governments that has its own army, runs by its own rules, and it's never exposed because they own these guys. So, and then they killed him. It's called the speech got Kennedy killed. Right? So we've been warned by presidents about this. Now, of course, we can go ahead and read books or get on the internet. Things like American deep state and find out about how 9/11 was an inside job and, you know, why they did it, what exposed it, who the Bilderberg Group is. The Bilderberg Group started was 1954, if I'm not mistaken. And every year, it's a top 120 odd of the top Western movers and shakers of the world. They meet in secret for approximately 4 days, maybe 5, and they're the ones that form policy. They're the ones that actually do it. They're the ones, you know, they get together and, Obama, you're going to be president, and when you're done, Hillary, you're going to be president. Of course, that got screwed up with him coming in. So, and then you look at Bohemia Grove, where for 2 weeks every year they meet in Northern California and dance around in what look like Klan robes, and then, you know, perform sacrificial ritual mock murders.
Right.
And and they chant. They still use Walter Cronkite's voice on the cremation of care ceremony when they perform this mock child sacrifice to a 40-foot-looking owl deity they call Moloch.
Wow.
You can see this. Alex Jones of InfoWars infiltrated. He snuck in and filmed the ceremony. And you got all the both Bushes were there, Clinton was there, Carter was there. Nixon said it was the most faggoty thing he's ever been to because they actually have gay orgies.
Right.
Because no women are allowed, and that's where they compromise you. Because then they get you on camera. Because, you know, they invite you, I'm going with the big guys. I'm going with the, you know, I'm going with the movers and shakers.
Yeah.
Then you want standing there and a bunch of naked guys running around having sex with, you know, adult, you know, male hookers. And the next thing you know, you're playing along the groupthink. And, you know, now they got you on camera. So now they got you for life. That's why you got politicians that might go in, you know, thinking they can change things. Then they got them by the cojones.
So wait a minute. What about Trump?
Yeah, he wasn't expected. Newt Gingrich was asked when he was running, when he first started running,
yes,
why does his own party dislike him? And he said because he's never belonged to any of the secret societies.
Correct.
Not Skull and Bones. He never went to Bohemia Grove. He never went to Bilderberg Group. He doesn't belong to the IMF. He doesn't care about the CFR. He doesn't belong to any of the secret societies. We don't know who he is. They're scared of him. And he's independently wealthy. They can't buy him off.
Nope. He is our George Soros for the right reasons.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it.
I've said that for a year.
That's a good way to put it.
Because, like you said, you cannot buy him.
Right.
And with that, he can promote what he wants. And,
well, but you know what? There's still the danger for his family.
Well, yeah, they tried to poison his family a few weeks ago. They sent poison
3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
they sent white powder to his junior's wife.
Yeah, the daughter-in-law.
Well, now he's getting a divorce from her, but irregardless.
But they knew going in what was going to happen. I mean, you don't make that kind of sacrifice.
You don't make that commitment exactly if you don't know that it's going to come with
price.
I've tried to kill himself. I've had the opportunity out here to speak to 4 of his bodyguards.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and they said he's the real deal.
Yeah.
They said, I talked to one of the last 2 I talked to. They've been at it a long time. And I said, what's the difference between, because they protected the Clintons too. I said, what's the difference between the Clintons and protecting him? So the Clintons at best tolerated us, at best. This guy, first day, came out and, said, who are you? How are you? Who's your you got any problems? I want to know about it so I can help fix them. So you're concentrating on the job. Who's your family? I want you to, he says he's the real deal. He talks to people. He listens to you. He follows through.
And he's not eloquent. I mean, when he speaks, he's just very...
He can be eloquent.
He can.
That's the thing. I'm not looking for a saint. I didn't elect a pope.
No.
I want somebody to get the job done. And if you, at times when you come in, and look how China treated him, like royalty.
Yep.
The Forbidden City.
Yes. Yeah. That owns.
Did you hear? And they praised him. Hell, you even had the Philippines guy singing about him. Now we got Kim Jong-un going, hey, I'm on your side.
Yeah.
It's okay. How do
I thought he
you?
was going to war with us.
Yeah, but
Not
they're
anymore.
having a meeting-
He's capitulating.
They're having a meeting sometime this spring.
They're going to talk. They're going to meet face to face.
That's unprecedented in any.
But I thought they were already going to war with us.
Well,
it was
if
saber
things
rattling.
don't work out, that can happen.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, instead of lobbing insults and missiles at one another, he stopped throwing the missiles. He stopped throwing the insults. Participated in the Olympics.
Yep.
That was a big step. And now it's okay. We're going to give up our nukes, and they're talking about unification of North and South.
Which is unprecedented.
This is amazing. So, this guy right here, if he unifies North and South, if he gets peace with North Korea, he's going to go down as the greatest president that ever lived. That's happening now.
The thing is, the media's going to spin it somewhere.
They can do whatever. Who gives a crap what they do? No
Exactly.
one's listening to these assholes anymore.
Yeah, no, I know.
But that's the whole thing. At the end of the day, if it happens, people are going to go, our economy's better, we're thriving.
Well, yeah, look at our
we're bringing
paycheck is
business
bigger
back,
every month.
We're bringing
I want to
business
know
back
how
to
many
the country.
liberals I've had walk up to me and go, well, my 401k is getting pretty damn good. Maybe he's not so bad after all.
Yeah.
Money talks.
Yeah, it does. At the end of the
Well,
day.
not just, no, it's our paycheck.
Thank you.
Our take home.
But what about the teacher that broke out crying the other day, thanking Trump for the tax cuts?
Yeah.
Because I'm making enough money now because your tax cuts can actually start putting something away from my retirement.
Yep.
Well, it's pretty bad. I mean, and they're cutting education though.
Oh, of course.
Next year, I don't even know what's going to happen.
I'm sorry.
Well,
Well, hopefully it'll be reformed. That's why I was speaking about the teacher
Well, yeah,
earlier.
but I've been a teacher for 21 years. I'm 4 years away from being done. And with all the cuts, I haven't gotten a raise. I make my take-home check is the same as it was in 2001. If you look at my take-home then and take-home now, it's exactly the same.
Oh, you guys have been totally
We've been
screwed.
beat down. Plus, we're asked to do 10 times what we used
But
to do.
here's again part of the take-home. Because you can go back and Hitler said it. You give me a child at the age of 3, he's mine for life.
Yeah.
They're not here to educate us. It's about indoctrinating. It's about getting you used to go from the school system to the prison system. And that's what this is all about. It's like the school shootings.
That boy didn't do it. I don't care what anybody says.
Thank you very much. Of course he did.
There was some shenanigans behind
you know what? I've been a
Yes.
teacher for 21 years, and I know in my heart of hearts, I don't care what they say. I don't care what the
Yes.
things show. Somebody, they were like, how can you call him that poor boy? I said, I don't know. But from the time I saw it, that was Valentine's Day, I was sick. I had been home with the flu all week. And I'm watching this child and watching this go all, remember, we didn't go out or anything, so I was sick. But I didn't leave, and I don't watch TV. But I could not leave the news alone. I was on the computer, watching it on the computer and watching it on TV. And I'm telling you, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that boy is not guilty.
And here's the thing. Nobody can put their eyes on that kid with the exception. There was one video, okay?
Do you see when the
kid,
shooting? But you don't see the kid.
But you don't see the person.
You just see the fire.
Things that make you, well, maybe they pinned it on this kid because they knew about him because he...
Psychological
I've seen
issues.
4 videos. One, teacher that was shot on NBC Good Morning America. One of the hero teachers. That said, on air, the man that shot me was in full military uniform with a black mask, and they immediately went to commercial. There wasn't no follow-up question on that. There was one girl, a student, on camera saying, I was walking out of the building as the shooting was going on, and Cruz was right next to me. There was another woman, a young student, said there was only 2 exits out of that building. We were going down the one stairs, and a shooter was coming up the stairs driving us up. We went to go down the other stairs. Another shooter was coming up that stairs, driving us into the classrooms.
2 at a minimum right there.
Yeah. So, and then you have, and here's what I'm ideal. Once is an incident, twice is a coincidence, 3 is a pattern.
Yeah.
And every one of these school shootings, you're going to see this. The FBI knew. Did nothing.
They're exposing that now.
Right. And there was a drill going on at the time.
That's like.
But it was the second drill of the day, and I can tell you that there has never been 2 drills in one day.
Thank you. So I'm saying, when you look, and the shooter was on some kind of psychotropic drug. This is, every time you look at a school shooting, those 3 things will inevitably pop up. Sandy Hook was a complete hoax. A complete media hoax.
All I can say is that what just happened was this shooting and all this. It was not.
I've spoken to eyewitnesses right here, that were in Las Vegas and saw people get shot right next to them.
Yeah, my friend was in Vegas.
That said,
she's a mess.
She says those shots came from ground level from 2 different directions. That's eyewitness I've spoken to her right here.
Yeah. No,
so it begs to ask the question, why? The motivation.
And whatever happened to that guy? We never heard anything about him.
No.
He just disappeared.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, 58 people get murdered. We don't even know the motive.
No.
We never found out why.
We never seen a picture of him in the casino. Nothing.
The one teacher that she's on leave because she had like a nervous breakdown.
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
I would do for it.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, she
but
just can't.
It begs. So the whole narrative behind this is gun control because we want to take your guns because they want total control.
Of course.
I mean, that's really what it is.
We can't take our guns.
They need our guns.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you're going to have nobody who's going to fight back.
Well, now they're wanting to give guns to teachers at schools.
Well, that's the proposal, and I think that's a great idea.
I think that we need to look at who is capable of that.
Well, you have ex-military police that are teachers.
Ex-military police, yeah. I mean, and I don't have a problem with that because it's obviously going to continue, whether it be government-controlled or a crazy person that is upset. Oh, my girlfriend broke up with me and now she's going out with another guy and I'm going to go in and I'm going to shoot up my teacher and everybody else. You're not going to stop that, okay? However, if you prevent it by saying that, all right, well, there's going to be people that do carry, that's only one solution to the problem. And the other is, well, what else do we have to do to fortify our schools?
How come we've never heard
Yeah, but then you get into turning the schools more into prisons, which fortifies the school-to-prison system.
Correct.
So again, it's indoctrination to get us used to that.
Yeah, we have to stand, now I have to stand in front of a gate and not let anybody in without a card. And I'm like, what does this card mean? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Everybody has one. You can take one out of somebody's car and walk in with it.
Well, arm the people that want to be armed, and these school shootings will stop overnight.
No different than church shootings.
Thank you.
If you're packed, I'll use the state of Texas, okay? And we've all heard there's the state of Texas, there is a concealed carry, and you're allowed to have it. Well, guess what? They're not going to have the issue. If they do have the issue, somebody's going to shoot back at them.
Well, why can't we have an interview with Cruz, hear his side? I mean,
because
Nicholas Cruz.
Well, one, he's completely brainwashed right now. They probably got on so many drugs and completely stripped his mind. He's a robot. He'll say anything he's programmed to say. You got to remember, they are masters at mind control. Look at MK Ultra. I mean, there's, and the various mind control methods they got now are so scary. If you really knew the truth, you wouldn't walk out and breathe the air. They have nanobot technology they're working on right now where we actually breathe in nanobots that settle in our neurons where we become robots. They can transmit thoughts straight into our mind. And we think we're robots. They can all of a sudden, I mean, they're working on that technology. That's what they're doing now. That exists.
In the rain. I'm just saying. Yeah. A plane can come over, they can disperse and stuff. It sounds far-fetched.
Chemtrails. I mean, that up there, that is not natural. See that one cloud, that streak? That is not natural. That is a chemtrail. That it could be anything. It can be, usually it's barium, aluminum, strontium, which all of this, and we breathe it in, is a good cause for the rise in neurological diseases. But you can look this up. There's so much aluminum being sprayed in the air that certain parts of the country can't grow crops unless they buy the seeds from Monsanto. They're especially designed to be grown in aluminum-tainted soil. They have got control of our food. They've got control. So they're trying again. It's all part of the scheme of tagging us from all sides.
So what does a little person such as myself do about this?
Well, one, knowledge, and then two, figure out how you want to spread it. What do you want to do with it?
It's no different than anybody else.
I see 565 children every week.
Then you're in a perfect situation to go ahead and
their hero.
counter.
They love me.
Then you're in a perfect situation to counter everything that the elitists are trying to do. You're in a perfect situation to do that because you can go ahead and always say, here's what they want me to tell you, and you might want to look this up on your own.
How can I give them information? How can I?
Well, yeah.
I don't even have information. I didn't even know this stuff.
Well, you're going to do it the way you do it now.
They all told me I was crazy when I was like, I know that boy didn't do it. I can see it. Look at him. He was walking, and I even saw when they pick him up. I mean, it was not on the news. It was on the one feed that you get from, I don't know. I got this feed that I don't know where the hell. It was like the local feed.
Yeah, the local guy. Yeah, that's where you're going to get the real stuff. It never
was on the news.
No.
It was just that local feed. And so they saw him. They grabbed him. I mean, they put him up against a tree. I saw the whole thing. And I'm like, this kid didn't do it. Where's his gun? And even that.
His whole demeanor wasn't right.
Yeah, he didn't do it. There's no doubt. But people, and they were like, you're just so nuts. Okay. Why are you calling him a poor boy?
I mean, I don't even know if Adam Lanza even existed.
Who?
Adam Lanza, the one that was supposed to shoot up Newtown, Sandy Hook?
Yeah.
How do I know he even existed?
That's true.
Well, as we saw with pictures of him they put up, it made him look like he was crazy. And this is supposed to be a school that just was renovated with the new security system, yet we don't see any cameras of him breaking into the school. We never even saw any dead kids. We saw nothing. The whole thing was a hoax.
So were there any, I mean, there had to have been dead kids.
No one died there. No one died there. They did not release the autopsies. You cannot get an autopsy. They made it illegal to even ask. There's a guy named Wolfgang Halbig, who is arguably the premier expert in school shootings. This guy for 25 years, ex-state trooper, took all his talents, became a teacher, and then went into school security. Testified in over 1,000 school shooting cases. Guy's opinion was taken as fact. He retired in Florida. He's down there when Sandy Hook happened. He goes, I even volunteer my services. I'll come up immediately. Didn't get an answer. He's gone, this is strange. So he started looking up what was going down. He goes, wait. For 25 years, the procedures I taught that are in the schools across the nation are not being followed here. Everything is screwed up. The whole MO is wrong. So we started asking questions.
You mean what we were doing compared to what we're going to do now?
So he starts asking questions, right? Next thing you know, 2 homicide detectives. If you don't stop asking questions about Sandy Hook, we're going to be investigating your murder. Well, this pisses him off. So he goes up. He's been up to Sandy Hook about 20-odd something times, 26, 27, 28 times. And he confronts them. His life has been destroyed. He's gotten a divorce. He's been audited numerous times. They crucified this guy, but he won't stop asking questions. Wolfgang Halbig. So, I mean, the one time when he first confronted the school board, he goes up and he says very patiently, he gets his 3 minutes, he gives a spiel. He says, I wanted to answer these questions. I'll be back tomorrow because it's very complex. I don't have time to answer them. I'm giving you time to write them down so I can have the answers to these very basic questions. Should be public record. Goes back the next day and it's surrounded by big burly police and they're saying, you can't come in here, you're disruptive.
So I guess they didn't give him the answers.
I said they tried to destroy his life. Well, everybody in Newtown had their mortgage paid off.
Wow.
The people, it was like a third or maybe, it was a large portion of the town, like a third or more of it, moved in within that first year. That year had moved in. So the whole, almost the entire town had its thing changed by all these government people that moved in and took up the housing.
That's interesting.
Crisis actors were found to be there.
Oh.
No medevacs were called. There were no helicopters. You see any helicopters? Anytime there's a school shooting, you're going to see medevacs coming.
Yeah, no,
there was none called.
We saw that.
There was none called.
We saw that.
Yeah.
You've got me thinking. I have some work to do because you know what? I impact so many kids, and not just them, but their parents and all these people I see every week. I see 565 kids.
Yeah. Well, God bless you, because you're in a perfect spot then to go ahead and do something about this.
In the next 2 years, I have to switch and go to a new place and start to do the same thing I'm doing is program the International Baccalaureate program. I have to start that in a new school. That was part of my deal I took, which I may regret. But right now, it was a great deal. When somebody offers you a great deal like that, I had to take it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the whole nanobot thing, I'm going to go research it, and I'm going to tell you why, because I swear to you, and I think my cell phone can read my mind.
Oh, no. I'm going to give you how much, because this is all about mega data now, and that's why it's so important what these corporations are selling our mega data to China and other places, allowing them to go in. There was a project here that I just read about 2 weeks ago that they were doing since 2012 called Project Palomar, that was used to ostensibly used by the military intelligence on terrorists, and they would gather everything about you. They would find out every minute detail, where you were, what you eat, what you read, who you have conversations with, what you said.
Data collection.
And so they could figure out you. They'd know you better than you knew you. We could predict what you were going to do. And so it was like pre-crime. Right?
Right. I like that.
Now, they use it under the guise of following terrorists. They used it here in New Orleans on the citizens without the city council even knowing it, under the guise to go ahead and track drug dealers.
For sure.
So, I mean, that's how much they got it down. They got it down to, if they want to, target you. And now they're even using the AI intelligence. This is how spooky you can get. If you're a kid on the Facebook, you want to make friends, right? You're using the metadata of what you got. They're creating fake friends, bot and artificial intelligent friends that can steer you anywhere they want you to go. So you could start out at like a liberty-loving, 18-year-old, and 2 months later they got you an ISIS bomber.
Right.
Just by manipulating you with the bots, with the friends, and indoctrinating you into the program. And it's all artificial intelligence.
And it's because, like you said, they track the trends. Everything you look at, I don't care if it's underwear Victoria's Secret to Fox News. They compile all this data. I know, not you.
Well, that's what's funny. You know how my favorite shows?
Yeah.
They know I never put it in. I know I did because I don't tell anybody. I watch 2 TV shows. That's it. And I've always said, I'm against TV, I don't watch TV, blah, blah, blah. Well, how does my phone know what I watch?
I'll give you a scary story that happened to me. Just on a whim, I'm walking by a Best Buy. So I go get some cheap earphones for the phone, right? Walked in, and I'm just walking around seeing the new tech things going on. Get these cheap earphones, go pay cash. I go home. The next day, what's popping up on my computer? Best Buy.
Yeah.
Did you have your phone in your pocket?
No.
How did they know?
Facial recognition.
Through the cameras.
Through the cameras in the stores, facial recognition. They track you. They can find out who you are.
Yeah, they know who I am. And if when we're out and we take pictures, the computer, like if we do a selfie somewhere and it's my friends who aren't friends with me on Facebook, yet Facebook can tell me, do you want to tag so-and-so? Do you want to tag this person? And it's like, no, I do not. Why are you, I'm not friends with them on Facebook. They just happen to be at my table.
That's the mega data they're going to use to control us. Again, they're trying to make it, look how friendly it is. You can tag your friends. And you get look, it's a bit. But in reality, they're now controlling it. They're leaning on us to go ahead and think a certain way. And then when they have that mega data, there's no way you could possibly go ahead and be anonymous. I mean, that's why a lot of times I leave my phone at home. Screw you. Yeah. I mean, they can still track you with the, everything from the satellites to the security cameras. But you are, the thing is trying to make it as hard for them as possible to do that.
Makes a lot of sense.
All right, you got me, Verdi. I'm going to be sending you an email telling you all the things I've read and all I've
You got his get out of jail free card.
Yes, I do. Thank you. It was
It's a pleasure meeting you guys.
It's been a great hour and change.
Yeah. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel, and if you like, purchase some of my. You can wear some of these things on apparel if you're brave enough to do that.
We'll be back in June. We're here like every Tuesday.
Yeah, hopefully I'll still be here.
Yeah, if they don't run you off, we'll find another corner. Pleasure speaking with you.
Yes, sir.
All right.